Right. Uripan. Sakanamata. Pray. Hello? Pray.
Okay. That Namate. Nomwe ruvor komsoro kutenga shekune pamberi pechitaro chenyu chemutsvamungu wadzimani rwani tongokutendai nokumaswera makatichengeta tongokutendai nemumwe mukana wamatito kuti tidzidze kubva mukati meshoko renyu chidai mweya mutsvene dai ungangovawo nesu mangotitungamirirawo kudetsera kukwanisa zvachadzidza tikwanise kugara mundangariro dzedu zvikuru sei tikukwanisa kuzvirarama. Vanamata ndichipota nezita raJesu Kristu tinogara nokusingaperi. Amen.
Amen. So today our title says Jacob's time of trouble. Jacob's time of trouble. So we said we are going to talk about Jacob's time of trouble.
It's irikuita ma-echoes.
Ma-echoes? Wakundinzwa?
Irikuita ndikukunzwa but irikuita ma-echoes inenge iri kure ndikungonzwa ma-echoes.
Wakundinzwa ere?
It's still the same. Handisi kuziva kuti chii chiri kuitika.
Kata iyo inonzi ishi. Wakundinzwa? Hello? Hello?
Izvino yakunzwika manje.
Yeah, it was problem hey Jew.
Jew inge kabakanti.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today we are going to talk about Jacob's time of trouble.
Okay.
So we are going to consider Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. Then we go to verse 10 to 11. Can you read that one?
Okay, Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7. Verse 7, reporting. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it.
Verse 10 to 11.
Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
Okay, so it's a term that is being predicted here by God. God is actually saying a time will come, a day will come where it will be, if it is going to be fierce to us. It is going to make us be frightened by the devil, like what Jacob did, and he was frightened by his brother Esau when Esau promised to kill David, really Jacob. So that time is going to come. The same time, the same situation Jacob faced. God is promising us here, but we are also going to face the same situation. But he said, we should not be afraid of anything. And he's promising us that he's going to sail with us. He's going to be with us until we reach Kwatuda. And like what he did to Jacob, he sailed with him until he sailed with him. So that's what the Bible is saying. So Jacob's history is also an assurance that God will not cast off those who have been deceived and tempted and betrayed into sin, but who have returned unto him with true repentance. So the Jacob's time of trouble, which is being mentioned here, that we are going to face is we have got sins that we are performing now, sins that we are committing right now. Those sins, they are going to be memories in our memory. And you are trying to repent, you are trying to say, God, I'm now a repentant Christian, but the devil will try to remind you of the sins that you have done, that you have committed, so that you don't have rest. And day in, day out, you don't have rest. And in the night, in the morning, you don't rest. The devil is going to say, but Tamara, you don't remember wakatemenda pregnancy, you're a sinner before God. And I'm not saying whatever pregnancy. That's how the devil is going to do. And he's going to mention the sins that we have committed. We should think those sins are worse. We should think
Unforgivable.
you don't say. And if you think of those sins, you see what you don't wait to be forgiven by God. It's worse. You take yourself into the shoes of God and say, if I was God, I was not going to forgive such kind of a person. So those things, they are going to come back, and the day is going to come. So while Satan seeks to destroy this class, God will send his angels to comfort and protect them in the time of peril. So in that time, God is going to send his angels, his archangel, to protect us, to protect you, to comfort you, to entice you so that you can feel that you are forgiven. You can feel it. Forgiven, you must feel it. So in terms of forgiveness, you must forgive yourself first before God forgives you. Because if you fail to forgive yourself, this time by no shika, tumbles. You get the sense? So the assaults of Satan are fierce and determined. His delusions are terrible, but the Lord's eye is upon his people, and his ear listens to their cries. IGCC page 621, paragraph 11. That's what Murandakazi is saying. But the devil is very fierce. The devil is very clever. The devil is very angry. He knows that his time is nigh, so he's doing anything. He's doing anything that is possible to destroy us as Christians. But the Lord's eye is upon the children of God. So we must not be afraid of anything. First appearance, we wanted to trace the life of Jacob. Then we link it to our life. First appearance, Genesis chapter 25, verse 24 to 33.
Okay. Genesis 25, verse.
Verse 24 to 33.
Okay, 24 to 33. As in, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Verse 29. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Therefore Jacob and Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright.
You see, the great controversy started in the womb when those guys were when Rebecca gave birth to those guys. One Jacob so
Hugh.
the hue of his brother. That's the great controversy started. So they started the great controversy while they were in the womb. And actually, if you read this story, God appeared to Rebecca and said to Rebecca, the older brother who worship the younger brother, and while they were in the womb. So Rebecca knew the issue that the older brother will worship the young brother. So Rebecca thought that she's the one who is going to help God in order to fulfill that prophecy. It was prophesied. God had his own way of doing it, but Rebecca thought it should be her who should help God. You see, so what I wrote here, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, they were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hair garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Esau was 80 years old when she bare them. So you see, favoritism of Rebecca started while these two kids were in the womb. She chose to love Jacob while they were still in the womb. So, but the father loved Esau because Esau used to hunt to hunt animals. So the father liked the nyama yemuka and meat of the animal. So he loved Esau. So that's what happened. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in the tents because actually his mother loved him. That's why he dwelt in the tent. And Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob, and Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. He was to faint, and Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, "Sell me is this day thy birthright." So the mother actually whispered to Jacob that you should be the brother. You should check the brotherhood. As you can see, I just want to say this thing before I go forward, that it was in the Israelites' custom, it was the duty of the elder brother to facilitate worship at home. You get the sense? It was his duty, and it upinza church bamba in the morning. It is owerenga vhesi oparidza, since he was the elder brother, it was the duties of Esau. But Esau chose not to stay at home, chose to spend his time in the field without reading the word of God, without doing anything, hunting for the animals, while Jacob was doing the duties which Esau was supposed to do. So Jacob, so that it was his duty, and he was just acting like his big brother. That's why he stole the birthright. You said he decided to exchange. No, since you cannot perform as our big brother, so can you give me that right, so that I can perform that your duties freely? And Esau said, it doesn't matter, you can do it. And give me Yamandij. And Esau said, behold, I'm at the point of to die, and what profit shall the birthright to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he saw this birthright unto Jacob. Right. As you can see, Jacob, it was, and Jacob is a crook. Jacob is a crook. He cooked his brother. He cooked his brother's birthright in exchange of soup, in exchange of lintel. So this Jacob is a crook. That's where he is. So Jacob is introduced with the great controversy being part of his birth, clutching the heel of Esau. Esau said to be a great hunter, Jacob is a stay-home son and a good cook. Esau comes home daily, duties, tired and weak, begs Jacob for some food, as you can see. And Jacob takes advantage of this and steals Esau's birthright. This being the first record of act. This first record of Jacob's sin, when he stole the birthright of his brother. God had his own way of doing it, but he chose to do it the wrong way. He defrauded his brothers. Esau, he deceives his father as well by wearing that coat, that sheep coat, and said to the father, I'm Esau. And the father said, the voices of Jacob, but the board of Esau. So he deceived his father, he deceived his brother. After that, after he had committed all these sins, he runs away from home. And he also, after he did all these things, so you can see sin can accumulate itself. If you commit this sin, you will commit another sin to cover this one, and you continue committing sins. So as you can see, Jacob is now having two sins. Then after that, he deceives his uncle Laban as well. Many other acts of wickedness Jacob did. He deceives his uncle. You know the story. Animals, vakagadzira vakaveza matanda achibvisa mvura where the animals used to drink water and kuti dzaicharika mutanda dzaingo when the animal crosses that stick they will and drink water it will be a calf in mavara yato yake. That's what Jacob used to do. And so Jacob is I don't know but I think Jacob is so Jacob.
Okay.
Jacob, Genesis chapter 28, verse 10 to 15. Can you read that now?
Okay. Verse 10. And Jacob went out from Beersheba, and went toward Haran, and he lighted upon a certain place, and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place, and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set upon the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it, and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. The land whereupon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land. For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken of thee.
You see what happened there. Even though Jacob had two sins that he had committed, and where he was running away, where run away, but God continued to follow Jacob, loved him as he was. But I want you to remember that God doesn't forget the sins that we have committed. One day you will pay for those sins.
Okay.
As you can see, Jacob paid for the sins. If you read the story, the whole story, when he was deceived by his deceived him. And when he was instructed to work for Rachel, but he was given Leah. He was also instructed to work another 7 years. You see, it was painful. 7 years of paying all the sins that he has committed. You see. So when Jacob place paper, he slept on a stone, and he saw the angels descending and ascending and descending on a ladder. Was Jacob was praying the whole night, asking God and if he can protect him through the way. And so he was praying, he was doing an all-night prayer, communicating with God. So God answered the prayers. So the other angels were coming from heaven with the answers and taking other prayers, go back to heaven. My prayers are Jacob. And so, but I was going to Christ, the ladder represents Christ. Christ is the ladder that Jacob saw, and the base resting on the earth, and the tombstone round reaching to the gate of heaven. to the every threshold of glory. If that ladder had failed by a single step of reaching the earth, we should have been lost, but Christ reaches us where we are. ETA 311. Saka Kristu anatisukira even tiri muzvivi tiri mate tiri momo. Christ visits us. He loved us. And he still loves us. And he will continue loving us. And his love is unconditional. Whether you're a sinner, whether he loves you as you are, like what he did to Jacob. So, as you can see, Genesis chapter 31, verse 13, 3 and 13.
31 verse
3
and verse 13. And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers, and to thy
kindred.
Okay. Verse 3. And the Lord said unto Jacob, return unto the land of thy fathers and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. Verse 13.
Verse 13.
I am the God of Bethel, where thou anointed the pillar, and where thou vowedest and vow unto me. Now arise, get thee out of this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred.
Okay. If you have time, you can read the whole story of Jacob. It's a very interesting story. When Jacob was deceiving his Tezara, and when he was deceiving him, and actually the Tezara recognized it, and his father-in-law recognized it that this person is a crook. He crooked him, and the countenance of his Tezara changed, and Jacob didn't notice it, but God noticed. Told Jacob that, can't you see that the countenance of your Tezara has changed? And so please, can you go back home, go back to Bethel, where you raised that tombstone? I will protect you, I will be with you. God is giving Jacob assurance that he's going to be with him through the way. You get the sense? So the trouble is now coming near. I want you to see where the trouble is. Where thou anointed the pillar, that's the verse you have read it. So though Jacob had left Pada Aram in obedience to the divine direction, it was not without misgiving that he retraced the road which he had trodden as a fugitive 20 years before. And so you see, when God instructed Jacob to go back to go back home, Jacob knew that, but God is saying, I will be with you, and God has gave me the assurance that he's going to be with me. But the devil came into the mind of David, of Jacob. It said, Jacob, God is saying, go back. Yes, it's okay. But remember, my guy, what you did. You stole the birthright of your brother. And the brother is waiting for you. He wants to kill you. You remember that. You ran away, knowing that your brother wants to kill you. So what are you going to do? But God is giving you assurance that I'm going to be with you. But you know that Esau is still alive, he's not yet dead. So what are you going to do? You see now, his sin in the deception of his father was ever before him. You deceived your father. He knew that his long exile was the direct result of that sin. He knew it. is this exile. It was the result of the sin he had committed. And he pondered over these things day and night. Even though after 14 years of committing sin, Jacob was still thinking of the sin that he has committed. But if the day I will go back to Esau, Esau is going to kill me. I think that's why Jacob didn't even recognize the change of the countenance of his Tezara, because he knew even if the countenance of Tezara has changed, but I don't have anywhere to go because I've messed up where I was coming. Okay, you see the sense?
Mm-hmm.
And he pondered over these things day and night, the reproaches of an accusing conscience, making his journey very sad. Where you are staying, you are no longer accepted. Where you want to go, you are not also accepted. And especially where you are going back, it's worse. You get the sense?
Mm-hmm.
But you know that the Bible has promised you that, Tamari, I will be with you. I will be with you. I will protect you. Just imagine. Ananzani uyo, ananzani mshinda akatiza kwenda Kenya, ananzani.
Akaita sei
Akatiza kwenda Kenya, achienda Kenya. Uyo angari professor wa Jonathan Moyo. And ku Kenya zvawa vashata. Can he go back to Zimbabwe? It's impossible. You see? And you see, that's the situation which Jacob was in. And as the hills of his native land appeared before him in the distance, the heart of the patriarch was deeply moved. All the past rose vividly before him. With the memory of his sin came also the thought of God's favor toward him and the promises of divine help and the guidance, Patriarchs and Prophets, 109, 105, page 1, paragraph 1. As you can see. So he's fighting with two things here. Conscience, he's fighting with his conscience. The conscience is telling him, but Jacob, so it's not a funny thing. We are not joking here. Huh? God is in heaven. You are not joking. Esau is here. Esau is alive. Huh? Are you going to face Esau? What are you going to do with your brother? You messed up, my guy. How can you steal the birthright of your brother and you still think that brother is going to accept you? He's cunning, he's searching for you, he wants to kill you. Huh? While God has promised you that he's going to protect you. He is now in the valley of decision. And then Jacob is on his way back, low and sad, discouraged, wondering if his sin is forgiven. While all this is happening, Jacob's mind, Satan is marshalling Esau and preparing him to attack and kill him. So the devil is working both sides, is busy making Jacob to remember what he has done, how deep the sin he has committed. And at the same time, he's preparing the Esau that side, Jacob, because Esau heard that Jacob is coming back. And he had prepared his war, he prepared his men to kill and attack the thief of his birthright. You see? So Jacob knew all these things. Satan reminded Jacob of his old sin, thus discouraging Jacob. As we approach time of trouble, Satan will remind us of our past, confess the sins, and throw this discourage us. They are the sins that you have committed, that you have committed long back. And then maybe you experience this sometimes. Those sins come back in your mind periodically. But God, that day I messed up. Huh? But actually you knelt down and said, God, can you please forgive me of this sin? But whenever you commit another sin, that sin comes back again. Comes back into the play and say, don't forget you are a sinner. You have done this before God. You don't deserve grace. So the devil fights with the conscience. He deals with our conscience. This time which Jacob was facing, we are also going to face it. Actually, we are facing it right now. That's why sometimes if he makes you to remember the sins that you have committed, even if you want to kneel down and worship, you don't kneel down and pray. Do you know that?
Mm.
You can spend the whole week without praying, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month. You can go for about 4 months, 5 months without even kneeling down and praying. Because you think you don't deserve to pray. In sense. And the devil will actually say, but you, Tamari, you want to say you want to kneel down and ask for forgiveness for this sin. Do you think that you are now okay with you want to leave this sin? If you think that you are going to commit it again, can you please don't waste your time kneeling down and pray? Because you know tomorrow you are going to do it again. So that's how devil does these things. So the Lord permitted Jacob to go through this mental anguish so that Jacob would learn to trust that 20 years earlier, God forgave him. God has already forgiven him. And that forgiveness was still valid when he slept on that stone, remember? And he was praying to God, the angels descending and ascending through a ladder. He was asking for forgiveness. So God had already forgiven Jacob. But Jacob didn't even believed that God has forgiven him. That's why those sins continuously emanate into his brain. Get sense? So it is true you have heard, but God expects you to trust his forgiving power. Satan accuses the people of God on account of their sins. The Lord permits him to try them to the uttermost. Their confidence in God, their faith and firmness will be severely tested. As they review the past, their hopes sink, for in their whole lives, they can see little faith. They are full conscious. They are full conscious of their weaknesses and unworthiness. Satan endeavors to terrify them with the thought that their cases are hopeless, that the stain of their defilement will never be washed away. He hopes to destroy their faith, that they will yield to his temptations and turn from their allegiance to God. 88. How will Satan accuse and discourage God's people? The time of trouble was upon us. I saw our people in a great distress, weeping and praying, pleading the sure promises of God, while the wicked were all around us, mocking us and threatening to destroy us. They ridiculed our feebleness. They mocked at the smallness of our numbers and taunted us with words calculated to cut deep, as you can see. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Esau didn't forget the thing, so he was preparing for him to destroy, to kill his brother. And these words of Esau, elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, a younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau is touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Esau is moved by Satan to kill Jacob. For 20 years, Esau plotted the murder of his twin brother, Jacob, because Jacob stole the birthright. Time for reckoning has come. To meet his brother, Jacob prays for deliverance. So what Jacob did, he prayed for for deliverance. Check Genesis chapter 32, verse 7 to 10. Can you read this one?
Okay. 32 verse 7. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him and the flocks and herds and the camels into 2 bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. Verse 9. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, and the Lord which said unto me, return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast showed unto thy servant, for which my staff I have passed over this Jordan, and now I am become 2 bands.
You see, so when Jacob was approaching his brother, he saw that he thought that the brother is going to destroy him, so he divided his family. He was doing his duty as a human being. As human beings, we try to help ourselves, lacking trust in God. That God has said, "Don't worry, my son Jacob. You just go back home. I will be with you. I will protect you." It was unnecessary to do whatever he was doing. What God has already promised him that is going to protect him. You see.
But apa ndine question handiti like we read kuti anga asiri kuplota kumuuraya ipapo aiplota kuti baba wake vachingofa obva aita sei obva amuuraya ndi
baba wangu afa.
Apa vanga vatofa
apa Jacob anga akudzokera kumba, remember.
But baba wake vanga vatofa
vanga vatofa apa manje apa Jacob we are on the chapter of Jacob going back home.
Okay.
The Bible is just reminding you what happened before. When love, we offered that when Isaac died. When this happened, and Isaac his days were near, and because he was old. So Esau said to himself, I cannot deal with Jacob now, or I cannot kill Jacob now since my father is approaching his death. If I kill Jacob now, my father will recognize he will die soon, and will go into an early grave, knowing that his son is dead. So let me not deal with Jacob now. I will deal with him later, after my father is dead. Do you see? So those words came into the ears of Chi, were heard by Rebecca, and Rebecca whispered to Jacob that you should run away. After your father, if your father dies, Esau is going to kill you. So when Jacob was coming back, he grouped his family into 2 groups. The other group will go with the other side. The other group go using the other side. If Esau attacks this group, the other group is going to run away. That's what he thought it was going to help him. So a certain influence Esau to march against Jacob. So he will stir up the wicked to destroy God's people in the time of trouble. So as you can see, the devil is working to the side that Esau, to stir up Esau. But Esau, don't forget your brother stole the birthright. Can you please deal with him once and for all? And so that's what the devil is also doing in our days. That's what the Greek controversy says. Is when like what he did to Esau, he's going to stir up the environment at Rogar, so that environment will be tense to us. As you can see, this side where I am, and we have got ngochan this side. Nezuro ndakatonyengwa nemurume. ukatofura navo pagate apa achiti ungagona kudana ungakwanisa kudanana neni. You see what the world is doing. The world is doing anything possible to destroy that hope that we have. If you come this side, you think that there is no God in heaven. Maybe I'm wasting time when I'm worshiping. You see, he's doing everything to the world so that you don't believe that God is there in heaven. Other people, other people are happy. Achita maclubs on arufara say you got one was ngafari. And panokuudza kuti haudi reprevhwa marights ako ekuti ufare ida unofara siyana nazvizvo. That's what the devil does. A lovely promise from God during the time of trouble is the saints left the cities and villages. They were pursued by the wicked who sought to slay them. But the sword that were raised to kill God's people broke and fell as powerless as a straw. Angels of God shielded the saints. So the saints are going to be protected by. As they cried day and night for deliverance, their cry came up before the Lord. Conclusion. What made Jacob prevail was persevering and determining prayer. If we are unwilling to pray and agonize, the mental anguish will crush us. You get sense? We must make it a habit to trust God now, so we can trust in time of trouble. If we fail to trust God now, in time of trouble, I will be in trouble for you. While Jesus is still ministering for us in the heavenly temple, as we discussed last week, we should be separating ourselves from sin and seek to be perfect with Christ. Seek to be perfect in Christ. Trust God as Jacob trusted God. We should trust God, and as Jacob trusted God. That's the end of our today's lesson.
Amen.
So we have to be very, very careful, because the devil knows that his time is nigh, is doing anything so that we do not forgive ourselves. Actually, conscience will deal with us. Many people, the reason that they've stopped coming to church is just because they are fighting with their conscience. The conscience are still saying to them, remember, my guy, you have committed murder. You know that some people whom you see like who are called Magandangaya, it's just because they have killed people. So that's why I was going to church. And they've killed people during the time of Umrenga. So they think that it's too much. What they did is too much. But no, there's no any sin that is too much to God. God can forgive any sin. But though you have to bear your consequence. You get sense? So there are some things that we do which will bear ripple effects after. There are some things that we do as parents when you are going to be a parent, which will bear ripple effects. Just like what happened. Fana the Esau, the Soka, I can go and kill, destroy those Philistines, that tribe which he was asked by God to go and destroy. He was told to destroy the whole race, but he kept Agag. You know the Agag? Yeah. Then Agag created Agazo Zvaravana Agag. 500 years later, they started to remember what happened 500 years later. But we should not love the Israelites. That's why they wanted Easter Bible. That's why they wanted Haman. aida kuuraya maKristu. You see, so my parents, if you are going to be a parent very soon, you must mind what you teach your kids. Some of the things that you teach your kids, they don't reap my effects immediately, but 500 years later, it will reap the effects. And so we must be very, very careful with what we do. And I think we are done. So Charwa sung edwe imba totana man utinamatira kufara lesson.
Keep you.
Penzi muchanzo kwatoimba ndatoma kusera.
Okay. Tenzi muchazwa
Inzira vachapiwa watu Mwari anovachengeta
Amen.
So pray. Ramata for our lesson.
Okay, tatinamate kuna Mwari vari kumusoro denga, kutendai nechidzidzo changu chiri pakati pedu. Kutendai nokuti matidzidzisa kubva pasitori yaDhaniel mukatidzidzisa kuti muri Mwari vanoregerera, muri Mwari vanotiitira nyasha. Dai mwangotibetserawo mukati meupenyu hwedu, dai mwangoona takudzwa mwangomubetserawo, ndimunoziva pese paanokukanganisirai, ndimunoziva zvese zvaakamboita mukati meupenyu hwake. Dai mwangovawo naye, mungangomuregererawo. Zvikuru sei dai mwangomudzidzisawo kuti akwanise kusimbira pamuri, azokwanisawo akwanisewo kuzoponeseka. Ishe ndinongonamatawo ndichingozviisawo futi neniwo mumaoko enyu. Dai mwangorambawo mwangondidzidzisawo kukwanisa kugona kuzviregerera. Dai mwangovawo neni, mwangotichengetedzawo. Tese tine zvishuwo zveupenyu hwedu zvatoda kuti zviitike mukati meupenyu. Dai mwangorambawo muchingotikomborerawo, mutitungamirirawo. Chendanamata ndichipemha muzita raJesu Kristu tinogara nokusingaperi. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.